OK, welcome back. Thank you for the phone calls. We'll get round to some of the phone calls a little bit later. A little later on. Thank you very much indeed, fellas. Frank Groom, thank you, Frank, said my clipboard was a real mess and a disgrace. Now, this clipboard I've had for many years, and it's lucky. I mean, you get things like that, don't you? You know?
It is disgraceful.
It is disgraceful, but it is lucky. But thank you, Frank, for sending me the new super executive clipboard with pen holder, which I shall be using when I'm on at the Palladium. Now, listen, first of all, fellas, you must drive up and down the country all over the place. I mean, do you have any views on driving or not? Do you get problems with wagon drivers and...
I think wagon drivers are pretty good, actually. They seem to keep in the middle there. I think
in the middle lane.
No, but I think the one thing they should just do is make sure all trucks have these anti-spray things on the wheels. I think that's the worst for cars being so low down.
Okay. Actually, I think the thing with women drivers is that they're probably more careful. Than,
no, I think really women ought not to be allowed to drive.
Yes,
I
know.
I
heard you say that.
Women driving altogether, there'd be more room on the roads. And
yes, there'd be 50% more room. Yeah.
Of course, I think that's we agree with that. Before we go any further, Donna, can you bring the don't start poking and pulling faces over there. Could you bring round the competition results? We had an awful lot. Tip them out on the floor over there and rummage them all around. We had loads of competition results. All right, I asked you what FM meant. All right, I think those were wrong. I'm not sure, but anyway, can you pick one out? There we are, and you can pick them all up after the show. Thank you very much indeed. Right, FM stands for frequency modulation, which is right, and that comes from Paul Innes from Coatbrig M154BY. Where's Coatbrig? I don't know where that is. Does anybody know where it is? Nobody knows where it is?
No.
No? In the Midlands?
China.
Manchester? Somewhere like that. That's a winner. Hold on to that. And they win the CDs that Donna threw on the floor a little earlier on in the programme. We've got a competition this week, and that is for signed copies of the Moody Blues' new albums. Those two. Oh, yeah, OK.
12-inch single.
The Sur le Mur and the No More Lies. That's a 12-inch single of the new one.
Yes.
All right, you're going to sign that?
More Lies.
No. More lies?
Yes.
OK, so you're going to... Very good, very good. So you're going to sign those, aren't you?
Yeah.
And the question is...
How many times was Nights in White Satin a hit? How many times has it been in the British charts by Moody Blues? Yeah.
Enough times to keep you sort of... Would you shut up, Stevie? You just shut up, all right? It was enough times to keep you sort of relaxed and not worrying about where the next penny's coming from. OK.
I think so.
We're going to take some... If you want to chip in, any of you, feel free. We're going to talk to some more calls. Debbie, hello.
Hello.
Hello, Debbie. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Exeter in Devon.
Exeter in Devon. How are you?
I'm a woman driver and I'm also an Arctic driver.
Oh, my God.
Great.
Why is it people pick on women drivers and why do they pick on Arctic drivers? We have to go through a really stringent medical test. We have to stick to really strict hours and we have to stick to strict speeding and everything.
Yeah.
And I think people would soon complain when their goods weren't getting into the shops.
Yes, what a serious point you brought up. Anything else to say? Right, well, OK,
Trains
can we have a
don't
little
go
round of
into
applause for
city
Debbie, because, you know... OK.
Arctic.
Creep. Justin Hayward and John Lodge, I'm told, a little voice in my ear said I never actually introduced them. I didn't need any introduction. Everybody knows who they are. Nights in White Satin. Dave, hello.
Nights
Good
I've
morning,
Satin.
James.
Dave, hi.
Hi. I'm an HGV driver as well.
Yeah, I can tell by the tone of your voice. Too many Yorkie bars.
No, don't eat them.
You don't?
No,
What
too
else do
busy
you do?
smoking.
Too many smoking, right.
I'd like to tell you what really gets me on the motorway.
Yeah.
And that's those prats of a car driver with the fog lamps on in the rain.
Yeah, I don't like to agree with the wagon driver, but on this particular instance, we have to agree with you. Yeah, and it's usually the ones driving along in their nice new cars, isn't it?
Yeah, in the middle lane.
Yeah, OK, so in the middle lane?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody sees them, just at dusk. At dusk, yeah. You're absolutely right. The trouble is they don't know. They've got so many knobs in their cars,
Yeah.
they don't know which one to play with first. Right.
Also,
Yeah.
the rubberneckers are looking at accidents on the other side of the motorway when there's an accident, slowing all the traffic down.
Most of those are wagon drivers, but OK,
No.
Dave, thank you very much indeed. Right. Mike, hello.
Hello, James.
Hi, Mike. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Spalding. I'm an owner driver as well.
Yep.
And I go up and down the motorway quite regular. And the thing that gets me is people are not confident enough to drive at night. They are never taught how to use their lights correctly. And I think that, you know, when a guy takes his driving test, or a girl, that they should have a night driving test.
Good point. Very good point.
And they're also not taught the art of defensive driving, like keep your distance or anything like that. They really don't know what they're doing.
Hey, listen. Wagon drivers cannot talk about keeping their distance. Thank you very much indeed. You see them going along the motorways nose to bumper. Graham, do you think, I mean, there's been a lot of talk, and when we were having our discussion outside, we were being told about my Ministry of Transport. We did actually ask them to make an appearance on the programme, and they said they couldn't. Do you think they're concerned enough about drinking and driving or not?
Certainly Peter Bottomley seems to be, but it looks as though he's got constraints placed on him. They do a lot of talking, not enough action.
You see, in Australia they had this random breath testing, which they say has worked wonderfully, but nobody wants to bring it over here because the police say, well, they have the powers to stop people if they want anyway.
Yeah, well, they've only got the powers to stop, they haven't got the powers to take a breath test. In Australia, it's just interesting this. I did meet up with the Commissioner of Police who introduced it over there, and he said the first year the reduction in overall deaths was 30%. If you were to relate that to the 60,000 who've been killed in this country over the past 10 years, we could have saved 18,000 lives if this had been done 10 years ago.
OK. Stevie?
Yeah?
Sit up straight. Get a shot of him. You know, come on, this isn't New Faces.
I am. Listen, I just...
What?
Can I just go and get me Blue Jays album? Because I knew they were going to be... I wanted to sign it.
Have you got it out in the dressing room?
It's in the boot in the van.
Yeah, sure, you can go and get it.
Can I go and get it?
Yeah, OK, yeah, OK. You don't mind, you fellas? You know, it's nice, isn't it? It's nice. Yeah, because he had to put up with Nina Mishkov saying all sorts of nasty things about him.